Good afternoon. Pinagod na po ako ng NEDA ng umaga at pinagod na rin ako ni Chair Agnes at saka ni Sekusi sa meeting namin ng 1 oras at kalahati. Hi, MP. Can we request a COMSEC to read into the record? Just so that you know, first I apologize to the agencies present for the delay in the hearing, but we've been overlapping hearings and we already met with agencies. So, para lang masaya na kayo sa simula pa lang ng hearing, all your budgets have been submitted. We've reviewed it and we understand the needs of the agencies. The DOE is a low-budget agency, which is a big mandate. The ERC is another low-budget commission, which has an increase of 105 million requests, which is immediately granted now. And there's no problem with these two agencies. Just read into the record the presence of everyone here. While I would love to talk to each and every one of you, and I'm very, very tired, and I will not waste the time of everybody because pinagod na nga ako ng 2 heads ninyo. Ganon. Yun lang pa, ang hingin lang pala yung 105 na kulang. Yun. So, Atty. Doblon, papayag ba tayo? Pumayag na. Sige na. Ang DOE naman, wala. You're not an implementing agency. So, just read into the record, everyone. I just want to see my friends whom I only see once or twice a year. Yeah. And, hi, yes, Melvin. Patakbo ka sa Laguna? Hindi. Okay. Ay, Administrator Mang Songsong, huwag kayo nagagalit sa akin, ha? Oh, sige. Joke lang. Okay, joke lang. Sige. Pakibasa lang po para ma-acknowledge lahat.
Madam Chair, for the proposed 2018 budgets of the Department of Energy and attached agencies, the National Electrification Administration, the National Power Corporation, the Philippine National Oil Company, and the Energy Regulatory Commission, we have the following resource persons. From the Department of Energy, Secretary Alfonso G. Cusi, Undersecretary Raul B. Aguilos, Undersecretary Jesus Cristino P. Posadas, Undersecretary Donato D. Marcos, Undersecretary Felix William B. Fentebella, Undersecretary Alexander S. Lopez, Assistant Secretary Gerardo D. Arquiza Jr., Assistant Secretary Leonido J. Pulido III, and Director Patrick T. Aquino of the Energy Policy and Planning Bureau. From the Energy Regulatory Commission, we have Chairperson Agnes Torres de Banadera. From the National Electrification Administration, we have Administrator Edgardo R. Masongsong. From the National Power Corporation, we have President Pio J. Benavides. From the Philippine National Oil Company, Ms. Glenda G. Martinez, Senior Vice President. And then for PNOC Exploration Corporation, Mr. Pedro A. Aquino Jr., President. From the PNOC Renewables Corporation, Engineer Pedro L. Lite Jr., Executive Vice President. From the Power Sector Assets and Liabilities Management Corporation, Ms. Irene Joy Besido Garcia. And from the National Transmission Corporation, or Transco, Attorney Melvin A. Matibag, President and CEO. Madam Chair.
Thank you. We acknowledge the presence of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Chair of the Economic Affairs Committee and the Energy Committee. I will yield the floor to Senator Sherwin. If I left 2 minutes earlier, we would adjourn the hearing, and Sherwin would not have asked the questions. No. No, but I will, yes, he was also my savior earlier when I was very tired sa NEDA hearing. He asked the questions I had, yeah. Sige, so I'll yield to him. Let me just state that you are a family agency, just like I tell DNR, energy, security, and environment are two of the closest advocacies to my heart. I support your budgets. I support your mandates to give energy security to our population. The expert on energy is beside me. I will listen to him and be enlightened. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Pinapanood ko kayo, ma'am, sa monitor. Wala pa ho kaya hindi pa ako bumababa.
Preliminary budget
Okay,
hearing
ano
na
ba?
sa kwarto ko kasi may mga dagdag silang hinihingi which I hope you support. It's just 105 million with ERC and DOE. Wala naman pong dagdag hinihingi si Sekusi. Binabawasan pa nga niya sarili niyang budget eh. No, anyway, hindi naman kailangan. Okay. Senator Sherwin is recognized.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, Secretary. Good afternoon, Chairman. And good afternoon to the DOE family. I've just, meron lang po ako konting mga policy questions. Dito po sa, in the 2019 budget, nakita ko po na yung budget for the NEPIO, the Nuclear Energy Program Implementing Organization, increased by 20%. And I just want to be enlightened kung ano na po yung outcome ng NEPIO in 2018. And then what is the rationale, Secretary, for the increase of another 20%? And what do we expect to achieve this coming year for the NEPIO?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Senator Chair, Senator Gatchalian, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The budget for NEPIO had been realized significantly po, although it does not reflect as of now doon sa mismong obligated pero before the end of this year po, halos marirealize yan because at this very moment po, we are on the preliminary infrastructure infrastructure nuclear review, integrated nuclear infrastructure review, and we will be doing it the inner proper on December po. So it is a major milestone in coming up with the nuclear power plant program and project, and of course nuclear program policy, and we have submitted the position, the national position to the Office of the President as endorsed by the Secretary, wherein it tackles three major concerns. One of those is to include nuclear as a long-term energy option. Number two is to evolve or to expand the NEPIO into an interagency or a commission or an independent agency attached to the Office of the President to really have focus on the nuclear energy program. And number three is to come up with appropriate and significant legislation that will help to really put the nuclear program in place. And at the moment, sir, we are really on the capacity building because there are the two challenges that we have. One of the two challenges, or two of the many challenges that we have to achieve is the capacity building for the human resources, and of course the social acceptability challenge. But of course we have already created the 19 technical working groups for the 19 infrastructure programs. At ito nga po yung re-report din natin sa intermission nito, which is a part of the number of the second technical cooperation with the technical cooperation program with the IAEA. So yun po yung marirealize ngayon Disyembre. So nasa preliminaries po tayo. Ongoing po ngayon, nandito po tayo sa Pan Pacific Hotel ngayon for 3 days. Para po itong thesis, dinidepensa natin ngayon para sa mismong inirang ma-assess na po kung ano na talaga yung talagang achievement, accomplishment, what are those milestones na halos malapit na natin ma-realize. So, very, very particular po ang social acceptability challenge. Kaya po, we are doing so many IEC, at doon nga po sa lahat ng information education campaign na ginagawa ng DOE, binigyan po ng parte yung NEPIO para po naman magkaroon talaga ng public awareness din. And if you allow us po para po doon sa mas detailed pang presentation, may I po si Director Patrick.
Yusuf, before we go to Director Patrick, NEPIO was created this year, correct?
No, sir.
Last year.
Yes, sir. August 2016, sir.
2016.
October 2016. After the international conference with ITNEC and the IAEA po.
All right. And the outcome of NEPIO is to continue, or the outcome of NEPIO is to use nuclear energy or to put nuclear energy as part of our energy mix.
Also, long-term energy option. It is included in the national position that we have submitted to the Office of the
So
President.
it's now a policy of the department that nuclear will be part of our energy mix. Is that what I am understanding po?
Not until after the President has approved the nuclear national policy.
Okay. So, ang outcome, basically, so what I'm understanding is, ang outcome ng NEPIO ngayon is to come up with a policy.
We have already the national draft. We have drafted and finalized the national policy, which we have submitted to the Office of the President for his perusal, Your Honor.
Okay. And the policy will now trigger the creation of more bodies to pursue nuclear. But in a nutshell ho, umabot na tayo ho dito sa policy. Dito po sa research ho ninyo, ang Pilipinas ba ho pwedeng pumasok sa nuclear energy?
Yes.
I mean, are we capable? Are we do we have the necessary components to go into nuclear energy? Because you're now recommending a policy, no? And so, meaning that we're moving a step forward. So, meaning we have already studied the ingredients and the components to step forward, no? So, based on your initial findings, no, and initial due diligence, Secretary, is the Philippines capable of hosting a nuclear power plant?
Philippines as meaning we alone, without the help of the other countries, we're not. Because one, that's what the objective of the NEPIO. The NEPIO is on the capacity building because we lost our capable manpower when we stopped the course on nuclear energy subjects or course at our University of the Philippines. So we have asked that this will be reinstated, that if we can offer that again. So the manpower, we have to do a lot of capacity building, and we will be needing the help of the other the more informed countries to help us along that line.
So what are the top 3 items that we should address? Or what are the top 3 items that can be the, or what are the top 3 problems that we should address in order to move forward with this policy?
Well, initially we must have that national policy.
Okay.
That's where it begins. Then, of course, once we have that policy, the other follows, including the capacity building, identification of the area, social acceptability, and of course all the other things that requires us. There are how many items that we need?
19.
Huh? 19 items according to the IEA that we have to comply with to be able to put one.
Okay. Secretary, how about the risk? No, because the risk really is the most. I guess this is really what everyone has in their minds, no? Because this type of fuel is really a very complicated technology, as well as the risk is also quite high, from my understanding. So, how do you now address the risk, considering that the Philippines has really in addressing the risk, there's also cost, no? And the cost of addressing that risk, I don't think we have that space to address it, no? So how do you address the risk po, based on your initial findings?
May I ask Jerpy to answer
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Madam Chair, Senator Win. First of all, let me start with the basic premise that before any country can go to a nuclear power program, it must comply with the milestone approach introduced by the IAEA in 2007. This milestone approach means that a country vying for a nuclear power program must comply or satisfy 19 infrastructure issues or gaps, without which this country cannot go into a nuclear power program. And before these gaps could be addressed, the milestone approach introduced the concept of the creation of a NEPIO. The NEPIO is the Nuclear Energy Power Program Implementing Organization. So before that will happen, the NEPIO, which you just mentioned po, was created. So this NEPIO now will make the assessment on these 19 infrastructure issues. This includes, among others, capacity program and, of course, the safety aspects. This, may I just enumerate, so this, because this covers everything, the risk. These are as follows. The national position is the national policy, the nuclear safety aspect, the management of nuclear power plants, funding and financing, legal framework, safeguards, radiation protection, regulatory framework, electrical grid, human resource development, stakeholder involvement, site and supporting facilities, emergency planning, nuclear security, nuclear fuel cycle, radioactive waste management, and industrial involvement. These 19 infrastructure issues, to the eye of the AEE must be satisfied before it will go a go signal to the nuclear power program. Now, doing or addressing these infrastructure gaps, there's a process. The country is given an opportunity to come out with the national position or the policy which is introduced to the President and subject to approval by the President. This policy will eventually become a national decision, and it requires the satisfaction of all these infrastructure issues, without which there will be no national decision, because among the infrastructure issues is the stakeholders' involvement or consultation.
Wala pa hong bansa na naka-address nitong issue na ito. No? A lot of them just bury it somewhere and it becomes a national security issue. No? So how do you now address, I know this is one of the many facets, no? But how do you now address this nuclear waste issue? Because this is really the sore thumb that sticks out in any nuclear agenda. So how do you address this?
Nuclear waste has been always an issue. There are advances in the technology on the way it is handled. And in fact, we had the opportunity to study how South Korea is doing it. And we had the opportunity to look at their facility in waste management, which is, I believe, if not the best, is one of the best or the most advanced in the world already. So we have reached an agreement with the Korea depository or manage the waste for us.
In other words, saan po dadalhin ni waste? Are we going to...